G'day everyone, how you going? Hope you're having a good day, and I'm a little bit excited today because I've actually got a new computer build, and it's actually a new computer build using DDR5 because a lot of people have been avoiding that because DDR4 is a little bit cheaper. But the bad thing is it's not a gaming PC.
Well, that sucks.
This one's just a general purpose home PC, so no gaming stuff, just basic internet, emails, documents, that sort of thing. But before we get into that, you might have noticed something missing in the background, and that's my Death Star. It fell off the wall the other day and I didn't even notice it. I just sat down to use my computer and then I noticed that's my Death Star. It's just sitting on the floor, and I looked where it fell down, and luckily it missed my model Millennium Falcon and other stuff. It bounced off the router instead, so I got lucky. But then my Boba Fett drawing that I had framed, I bumped into it with my stupid sling. It started to fall. I grabbed it, but the frame just came off in my hand and the rest hit the floor onto my toe. Thankfully, the glass didn't chop through my toe and it didn't shatter, but the frame was toast. So I'm going to have to get myself a new A3 frame and get Boba Fett fixed up again. I actually painted that frame to make it look distressed metal to match up with the character, but so it's going to take a little bit to find a frame and then redo that trick. But these things happen, and it's partly because I'm in this sling. I've only got 5 more days to go in the sling, and then I'm out of it, and then I think I'm going to have a burning ceremony because I'm so sick of this thing. You have to sleep upright in it, so I've had to buy all this special pillows and stuff just so I can sleep upright, and it's just cumbersome. It makes you bump into things and makes you, it's just annoying. Anyway, that aside, what we're doing today is building, so let's go over what we got. So we got an Intel Core 5 Ultra 225 in the socket 1851, and this is a 10 core processor, 20 meg cache, and goes up to 4.9 gigahertz. We got 2 sticks of 8 gig Crucial DDR5 5600 MTS, just basic, no heat spreader type RAM. That's the cheapest you can get without being absolute garbage. So 16 gig total. We have a Kingston NV3 500 gig NVMe PCI Express 4 storage. Pretty standard, nothing. Like I said, it's not a gaming PC, so there's nothing crazy going on here. We've got the MSI Pro B860MA Wi-Fi. Once again, just a modern 860 chipset. B860, it's got the 5 gigabyte LAN. It's got the Wi-Fi 7. That's all pretty much standard on these newer boards. And we have a Thermaltake Smart BX3 550 watt power supply. It's ATX 3.1 compatible, and it's non-modular, so it's got a big bunch of cables coming out of it, but that's all we really need to power this. And it's an 80 plus bronze power supply. And we have a Antec BSK 10 case. I've used this case for a lot of businesses and basic home users who don't want any lights or glass or anything. So this is another person who doesn't want any flashy stuff. So it's a pretty good case and pretty good price. Micro ATX, and has one 120mm fan pre-installed at the back. Perfect for what we're doing here. And they've also bought a screen with it. It's going to be an MSI Pro MP251L E2. It's a 25-inch IPS screen, and it does 120 hertz refresh rate. Pretty standard stuff, nothing flashy. And that's the build. And that, with the screen, costs $1,505 Australian for the customer. So you can see why people are not buying new computers. The computer industry is really struggling right now because customers just aren't willing to pay that sort of money generally unless they have to. The only reason this one's happening is his computer's dying and he needs a computer, and he just doesn't want to buy old tech. He wanted to get more modern tech so it lasts a bit longer, but he was forced to, basically. So if customers aren't forced to do anything, then they won't, and that's basically what's happening. This gets even more expensive if you start adding graphics cards and stuff in. So you can really see how it's affecting the industry. Anyway, that's what we're doing. And so we need to move on and start building this thing. So we'll start off as usual. We'll get the motherboard and we'll install the CPU, RAM, and we'll leave the storage off because I've got to do a data clone. And then we'll move from that to fitting it into the case. And then it'll be a case of calling the customer and saying, hey, bring over the old computer so I can do your data. And then we'll finish off by migrating it to 11. So yeah, but anyway, let's do the first step. So I'll clear all this off and we'll get set up and we'll get into it. See you soon.
I can roll.
So the camera cut out on me halfway through putting everything onto the board, and I didn't know it because my camera doesn't have a low battery alarm sound to tell me. So it just turned off. I'm already finished, unfortunately, putting everything on, and you didn't get to see it. But it was actually quite easy. It wasn't too hard. I think the hardest part was pushing the mounts down on the heatsink. But I just wanted to say, like, you can use the thermal paste that comes on the heat sinks, no worries. I just prefer to use the aftermarket MX6. I just think it's a little bit better, and because I want that heatsink to cool as best as it can, being a stock cooler. So that's just my personal preference, but you're completely fine to use whatever comes pre-installed on it. And I just pointed out during the video that it comes with a IO shield built in, which saves us that hassle of mucking around with a separate one. It also has the nice quick release heatsink for the NVMe, which is another good feature. And it also has 4 slots for RAM, so gives you a good option to add more RAM later if you can afford it.
Right.
So yeah, that part is done. And it's quite a nice looking board. It's quite stylish, although we're not going to get to see it because it's covered. So we'll move on now to the case and we'll prep that and put the power supply in it first, and then we'll get the cabling sort of semi-ready, and then we'll plop in the motherboard and connect it all up. And I think we'll be ready to contact the customer within an hour, I reckon, and tell him to bring in his old one, and we'll see when he can bring it in. But for now, I'm going to have a quick lunch break. I'll be back.
Also, a box of Pop-Tarts and still be this.
This drink, I like it. Another!
So here's a brief look inside the Antec. Pretty stock standard stuff. I think this can come in a window package as well, but this one's got the solid side, so you won't be seeing any of this stuff, unfortunately. Got the single 120mm fan, which needs to be rotated, so the cable's out of the way. Alright, Yeah, so this case can also take two 3.5-inch mechanical hard drives. You can also install 2.5-inch SSDs if you've got those as well. So plenty of room for storage, and there's room to put 2.5-inch SSDs up here too. So plenty of places. Alright, power supply is in position, screwed in. We can lie this down and drop the motherboard in.
A few moments later.
Alright, so this motherboard is a wider micro ATX, so it's got 2 extra mounts. So we'll need to install those first onto the case. The mounts come in the kit, it's just a matter of adding it. It's upside down at the moment, or back, but that's the back. This is the back of the computer, so there's the 3 and 3, they're the normal ones, but I had to add this one and this one because the board's got the extra width to it, like that. And we're ready to screw it down. I'll set this to the lowest. I don't like to over screw motherboards in. It usually ends badly if you do that. Alright, motherboard is screwed in. Nice. So, there we have it, mounted in, extra mounts over there, fits beautiful, very nice. Alright, we'll start to hook up the cables now. Because this is going to be an NVMe system, it actually minimises cabling a bit more, which is good. We don't need SATA cables and things like that. So we'll put on the USB 3 connection. Now this is nice, it's got both types of connections. We got that way, horizontal or vertical. They got both options, another nice feature. So if one gets blocked, you can use the other one, which is good. Because I've had some motherboards where it's only got the horizontal, not the vertical, and it gets blocked and it's a real pain. I'm actually going to have to lie this down in order to push down on this, because my right arm does not have the strength. There we are. That's on. All right, I managed to cable it one-armed. That's a bit tricky in some places, particularly getting that fan connector down in here. That was the hardest one, I think. And surprisingly, even though it's got the split front panel cables in there, it wasn't too hard to get it. Well, it wasn't any harder than normal, but I still hate those things. But we got it in. So yeah, we are at a stage I can take this over to the actual test bench and we can switch it on and make sure it goes into the BIOS and all that sort of stuff and works. All right, let's move over there and we'll see what happens.
The suspense is terrible. I hope it'll last.
Alrighty, we're all set up on the test bench and we're plugged in, and let's find out what's going to happen. Power going in, okay. nothing happened. Well, just kidding. It is powering on, and I believe we're about to get a picture. The fan just slowed down, and yes, we've got a picture. Beautiful. All right, so we're in the BIOS, and she's all working. Core temp is 45 degrees, that's good. Fans working, 16 gig MB, yep, okay, so yep, just detecting all the RAM. Awesome. So the next step will be just to bring that BIOS up to the latest version, which won't take very long. And I think what I'll do now is I'll contact the customer and let him know we're at a stage we can put his data onto the new machine. So I'll do that shortly. So once again, I will come back to you once the BIOS is done and once the data has been brought to me, and we'll finish it off and get Windows set up on it, and we'll see the final product.
3 days later.
All right, guys, it's been a couple of days now, and I've finished cloning the drive from the old one to the new one. It took absolutely forever because that old drive was clearly not well. It was only copying at like 4 megabytes a second most of the time, and it didn't finish until like the next day. So normally SSDs clone within an hour or two at the most, and that one just took all day and all night. So it must have been extremely terrible to use that computer. So the customer's not going to know himself when he starts using this, because it works a lot quicker. And there you go, it's all neat and tidy in there, but we're not going to get to see that, unfortunately, mainly because this is not a glass side. It's going to be a solid side, which I'm going to put on now. I've got a little bit of movement now with my right arm, but I've got to still be very careful. It's only 4 weeks in, so it's definitely nowhere near fully healed. I've got to wait at least another 8 weeks before my shoulder is ready for very light gym exercises. So that's on, we're all set, and it went to Windows 11, no worries, and yeah, all the new drivers and everything are on and working really well. So that's going to be it for this video. So thank you for watching to the end. Hopefully by the next video I'll be out of this sling. Maybe not. I'm going to go see the physio today, and they'll let me know whether I am allowed to get out of the sling permanently, and whether I can drive and all those sort of things. So kind of looking forward to that. But until then, I'll be in the sling and I won't be driving. So we'll see what happens. All right, okay. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.